Hey guys, welcome back to another video. A couple of months ago I got my racing license, and today I'm on my way to get my motorbike license. For those of you who have followed me for a long time, or those of you that follow me on Instagram, you probably already know that I have a slight MotoGP obsession. In fact, I love world and British superbikes as well, and I'd watch any of those over a typical F1 race. I think what those riders do on those bikes is unreal, and unlike something like F1, you can't really buy your way into a MotoGP seat because you need exceptional talent to be anywhere near that level. Last summer I was lucky enough to go to the British MotoGP at Silverstone, as I've done a few times in the past, but this time I went with BMW, and in fact they contacted me not long after asking if I fancied getting my full bike license. When I was younger, I really wanted my bike license, but thankfully my parents didn't really like that idea and sort of steered me away from it. And I think that was a blessing in disguise, because when I was 18, 19 years old, I loved crashing my mountain bike, usually at high speeds, and I loved driving my car at a reasonably fast pace as well. So in hindsight, I'm glad that they deterred a younger Joe from getting his motorbike license, because I could have hurt myself or someone else back in the day. Fast forward 25 years and I feel that I'm really ready to jump on a bike, whether it's on the road or, predominantly for me, the end goal is to go out and do a track day. I'm a big fan of the 44 Teeth YouTube channel. I've watched it for the past 4 or 5 years, and that has inspired me further towards wanting to get my motorbike license. In fact, I know Chris very well, and Al, and whenever I speak to Chris off camera, he always tries to describe what a sports or superbike gives you in terms of feeling. He's a very good driver, and he's always said that you just can't even compare a fast supercar to a superbike. They're on totally different levels in terms of performance. I've got a big mountain bike sort of background or history. I used to race mountain bikes cross country when I was really young, and downhill for many years, and I always got a lot of thrills out of that. And I'm hoping that being back on 2 wheels, albeit with 200 horsepower and on the road, is going to give me some of those thrills back. But as I say, on track more so than on the actual public road, because yeah, that doesn't excite me too much. Although on a nice summer's day I would love to go out for a cruise at sensible speeds and just experience sort of, yeah, open air driving. This BMW rider training course is offered through Motorrad UK. They actually have 5 centres here, and I'm taking my test at their Royston centre because that's reasonably local to me. I'm doing their 7-day direct access course, so essentially it would turn me from a complete novice into a fully qualified motorbike rider. All I needed for that was to pass my motorbike theory test, which I did a few months ago. If you're looking at doing this, make sure you book that well in advance, because there is a waiting list. And I needed my full UK driving license, which I've obviously had for many years. It's going to be difficult for me to film everything because I'm there primarily to listen and learn and also pass my test, but I am going to bring a GoPro with me and try and capture what I can. And at the end of each day I'm going to do a 2-minute update of what I've been up to. Today is all about the CBT, which is compulsory basic training. So wish me luck, and I will check in with you a bit later. Morning. Day 1 done and dusted. All of these days we start at 8:30 and we finish at around 4 p.m. So they're not massively long days, but as I've found out today, they are mentally quite draining and physically, because it was very warm and we're in protective gear. And that's kind of how the day started. in a classroom learning all about the protective gear that you should wear, the compulsory stuff and the recommended stuff. Obviously things like helmets, gloves, boots, and then the jacket and the trousers and stuff. But really interesting. Some stuff in there that you might think is obvious, but other stuff you just don't think about, like special visors and stuff that don't mist over or fog over during the winter months. So that was really interesting. We then went out to a sort of safe area that was coned off to learn slow speed maneuvers on the bikes. And when I say slow speed maneuvers, in fact we started by literally walking the bikes around. I was given a G310, which is essentially an adventure bike, but a slightly scaled down version of an adventure bike. Really nice bit of kit, and I just had to get used to the weight of it, getting on and off it, pushing it forwards, pushing it backwards, because this is all part of what we're going to have when we go through the tests. And then it was literally clutch control, movement control essentially, and we started on a, I guess you'd call it a dyno or a rolling road, just to get a feel of the clutch, because unlike in my head and unlike almost in a manual car, the clutch is more the accelerator than the accelerator on a bike, at least when you're pulling away. So it's really getting used to that quite sensitive biting point. And then once we got used to that and slowing down using the brakes, obviously you got your front brake on the right hand and then you got your rear brake on your right foot. Again, not the same as, let's say, a bicycle. So just getting your head around that. And once they were comfortable with us and thought that we were good enough and we showed enough bike control and enough spatial awareness of what's going on, mirrors, etc., all of the safety moves, we then parked the bikes up and went back into the classroom just to look at a few other things that we would encounter on the open road, like roundabouts, etc., and a bit more safety talk, gearing us up for tomorrow's activities. I'm going to turn these cameras off now because I'm actually feeling quite mentally drained. It was a lot to take in and a lot to put into practice today. I'm going to go and get a good night's sleep, and I'll check in with you after tomorrow's activities and talk you through what we had done and hopefully what we've learned. Day 2 at BMW rider training, and the sun is out again. Should be a good one today. I feel a bit more confident. I actually know what I'm doing. Day 2 done and dusted. Today's been a really exciting day. Yesterday there was a lot to take in, a lot to understand about the bike, the controls, the maneuvers you have to do coming up to a junction like this. Lots to take in, lots to learn, and I think that's why this course is just amazing, because most CBT courses are one day, some are even half a day. We've had 2 days, and even 2 days was quite intensive, but I just feel like I've learnt so much. And the real highlight from today was, well, we came out of the safe area and we practiced on this road we've just driven on here, which is a public road, but it's sort of a private public road, so there's no traffic, especially today, it's Sunday. It's like an industrial estate there. And we practiced on there, which felt much better and much easier because we had more space than the really tight controlled area. And then in the afternoon, well, we came out on the main road, this main road actually, and we spent 2 hours driving around on main roads, through villages, little B roads, A roads, into Royston. So lots of sort of zebra crossings, traffic lights, roundabouts, everything. And it was just epic. I mean, I loved it all, especially the sort of country B road stuff. Just the sort of roads that I love being in the car, but I tell you what, being on a bike, just, I've never experienced anything like that. It was just pure freedom. Yes, I'm obviously much more aware and my senses are a lot higher about dangers around me, which actually I found just now in the car, that I'm already a lot more aware of looking at everything. I always thought I'm a pretty good road driver, and I'm aware of everything that's going on around me. My spatial awareness is good, my peripheral vision is good, because I was a cyclist when I was younger, and I cycled on the roads in London for many years, so I think I've always had decent vision. But spending a couple of days on the bike, my senses are like much better now, so it's going to make me a much better car driver as well, hopefully. But anyway, going back to today, as you can probably see, I'm really buzzing. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. 40 or 45 miles an hour felt like I was doing 100 miles an hour, and it's just brilliant. So yeah, really pleased with today. Tomorrow we're moving up from the 310s to the twin 750s, a lot more power. I think it's about 100 horsepower or something, which is going to feel like a lot, I'm sure. I will speak to you lot tomorrow afternoon, after we've spent some of the day on the bigger bikes, and I'm not sure what else we're up to tomorrow, but I'm sure I'll update you, and hopefully I can get you some clips along the way. So thanks for watching so far, and yeah, I hope many of you are finding this as interesting as me. Cheers. Hey guys, you joined me at the end of day 4 at the BMW rider training, and today has been epic. We essentially upgraded from the 310s to the GS 750s, which are actually 850cc. They're 2 cylinders as well, V-twin, I think they call them. They sound so much better, they ride so much better. You'd think bigger, heavier, faster machines would be more scary, but they're really not at all. In fact, they're, in my opinion, a lot tamer. I also fitted the GS 750 a lot better, but the GS 750 isn't just one size. You can have different seat heights and stuff, so it kind of does adapt to other people, because Stephen, who's also on the course, is a lot shorter than I am, and he was on a sort of smaller setup GS 750, so really interesting, but just so much fun. Really enjoying and experiencing freedom for the first time on a bike, and feeling, I'm not going to say confident, because I don't want to sound like I am overly confident, but my confidence is there, whereas on day 1 and day 2 it really wasn't. So feeling more confident, and actually being able to enjoy what I'm doing on a bike that's that's seriously fast. I think the 310 was about 20 horsepower, and this one was about 80 horsepower, so basically 4 times the power. And although yes, it's about 50-60 kilos heavier, yeah, it's rapid, really rapid, but in a nice way. Just like a car like this M240 is, it gets you out of trouble. There's always power there. Even if I'm in 4th now and I come out this roundabout, oops, I'm in 4th, doesn't matter, put your foot down, and there's just plenty of go. And that's exactly what the GS 750 felt like to me. It's just power and torque everywhere. Anyway, I am going to go back to the hotel and get some rest. Well, that's a lie. I've actually got to do some editing tonight, but I'm going to turn these cameras off, otherwise this video will become very long. One other thing before I do that, there's a guy standing in the road. What's he doing? Okay, there's a big truck coming out. So let me just whack my hazards on there. It's a really nice segue, actually. I was just about to say, one other thing that it's taught me, I'm always a very aware driver. I'm always looking a long way ahead. I think a lot to do with my track day stuff and my mountain biking background, etc. But doing the bike course has really taught me to study signs everywhere, look at everything that's going on, the road markings, at a completely different level. And in fact, if this was me a week ago, I'd have been right down there next to that guy that's directing the truck out. But because it's me after 4 days of learning to ride a bike, I'm giving them loads of space. I don't want to get involved in that melee that's going on down there. And also I'm using my mirrors a lot more, just seeing what's behind me. In a car you've got a bit of safety net, but on a bike you haven't. If there's a truck that hasn't seen me stop, yeah, you've got to just jump off the bike, get out of the way. So yeah, very, very interesting, and all things that I've picked up, which is yeah, no worries, mate. Yeah, no, I tell you what, you don't even need to thank me for waiting there for 2 minutes. Nobody cares, do they? Anyway, I will check in with you tomorrow afternoon, and I will be getting a few riding clips a bit later, either tomorrow or the next day, because I appreciate that I'm not really sharing much with you apart from me updating you every day, but hopefully you're finding that vaguely interesting. Cool, I will see you tomorrow. End of day 4. I think I said yesterday was the end of day 4, but hopefully I corrected myself on the screen, and I'm sure many of you would have picked up on that already. I've been so focused on what we're doing that I literally have forgotten what day of the week it is. Today was another epic day. Once again, the sun has been out, so the weather was on our side, which obviously when you're on the two-wheel variety, whether it's a bicycle or a motorbike, it's always a bonus when the sun is out. Today was brilliant. It was another day on the GS 750s, and really just lots of seat time. So we did about 2.5 to 3 hours on the road, and we actually went over to the test center where I'll be taking my module 1 part of the 2 module test. So I've already passed my CBT. I did that on day 2 essentially, so day 1 and day 2 were the CBT part of the test, and now I'm working up towards getting essentially my full license, and that consists of 2 modules. So module 1 is on a, let's call it a cordoned off area, almost the size of a football pitch, tarmac, lots of cones, and I have to do certain things on that piece of tarmac to demonstrate that I have really good bike control. I can stop in certain areas, I can go slow speeds, I can do U-turns, etc., which all sounds very basic and easy, and it would be for me in a car, but on a bike that's 200 kilos, so relatively heavy, that I'm new to, it's not that easy, but I am, touch wood, finding it much easier now than I did when we practiced it on day 1 or 2. Every day is just getting easier for me, which it should be, because everything is becoming more natural. So all of my controls, when I'm slowing down for a roundabout, I'm getting the bike set up and ready for junctions and roundabouts, whereas on day 1 and 2 I was kind of overthinking stuff, trying to learn stuff, you know, it was all a little bit overwhelming from my head anyway. So really cool day. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. We're going to go and explore some, let's call them handling dynamics of the bike a bit more. Today we did that on some lovely winding roads, and it's just so much fun. I can't explain. You can have so much fun on the bike at sort of normal speeds compared to a car, or at least for me anyway, because I'm so used to a car. The bike is just a whole new, it's a new thing, it's a new experience. So I'm going to switch these cameras off and head back to the hotel, get some good sleep before tomorrow. Hopefully at some point I'll be able to take, or I won't, but my instructor, chief instructor there, Ian, will be able to get some GoPro footage of me riding the bike. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking now because I'm tired, and I will speak to you tomorrow afternoon. End of day 5. Yes, got it right. What a brilliant day. Yet again, the weather, it's held off. Today was just about fine-tuning everything we've learned over the past 4 days. and just feeling more confident and more natural on the bike. I'm thinking less about the maneuvers I'm doing when I'm approaching junctions and roundabouts, etc. In the sense that I'm thinking less about the order that I need to do the sequence. I'm thinking less about even things like where the brakes are, where the clutch is, etc. I know that all sounds a bit crazy, but obviously from a complete amateur 5 days ago, now everything's just coming together so nicely. So yeah, really enjoying myself, really enjoying the tuition, the teaching. Yeah, we've had Ian for a couple of days now and it's just been really good. Let's just get out of here. There we go. Reasonably cold, so I'm not going to absolutely boot it. It's just a 50. So excellent. I mean, yeah, I don't really have much else to say today. After lunch, after we'd got some of the tweaks that we needed to do out of the way, Ian took Jerry and I down some awesome roads. I mean, really fun roads. They would have been fun in the car, but they were just awesome on the bike. And we're just learning about the sort of slow in, cautious slow in. It's all about the vision, enough room to stop. Can you see what's around the corner? And then once you can, once the corner starts opening up, you then open the throttle up, and just the sensation of that bike wanting to pick itself up. I'll demonstrate now in the car, I mean at a slower speed. So you're coming around here, I could see the junction now. We'll ignore those cars on the left because I'm not using them. See the junction open up and then picking up the throttle, and as I pick the throttle up, the bike wants to stand up, and therefore it starts exiting the corner or the roundabout, whatever. And it's just such a nice sensation. You're not steering the bike in an old-fashioned sense, you're steering it on the throttle. You kind of do that. I do it in my M2 on a track day. You know, sometimes I antagonise the rear end a little bit to slide it around a bit. That then gets the car turned at the apex or on the exit. It's sort of similar. And also when you do pick the car power up in the car again on the track day, you then want to be unwinding the steering anyway. So it's very similar concept, but just in a completely sort of new and alien way. I've seen it on MotoGP, I've seen it, you know, superbikes. I've seen it for 35 years of watching these bikes on circuits and stuff, you know, racing. But actually being able to put that into practice and feel it myself is just awesome. Really fun. So yeah, as you can see, really enjoying it. I honestly can't recommend these guys enough. If you're thinking about your license, whether you've got your CBT or you haven't ridden for ages, years and years, you want refreshers or whatever, or like me, complete novice, done hundreds, maybe thousands of miles on mopeds in my life, in various countries and places, ridden a few bits of motocross when I was younger, as in 25 years ago probably now. So complete amateur, obviously spend a lot of time on the road, in a car, but there's just so many differences, and it's just brilliant, and it's undoubtedly made me a better driver in the car, much better. My senses are on fire now driving along here. I'm looking at everything, assessing it all as if I'm on the bike, which I'm not. And I'm also a lot more aware of other bikers, which is a very good thing. I appreciate what it's like to be on a bike and how vulnerable you can feel. So yeah, great. I'm going to leave it there, and I will speak to you tomorrow. Tomorrow is my Module 1 test, which is the test that's on the sort of concrete, or tarmac, sorry, area, where they assess my manoeuvres, my bike control, slow speed bike control essentially. Slow to medium speed, there's some faster stuff there. So wish me luck. I should pass it going off practice, but obviously test conditions, you tend to put yourself under a bit more pressure. But yeah, speak to you tomorrow. So rather than give you an update in the car today, I thought I'd do it outside before I jump in the car. It's been a really interesting day. Went and rode my module 1 test, which is essentially about slow speed bike control, just showing the examiner that you can handle a bike at slow speed. And yeah, it went really well. I kept a calm head. I went in there and I basically did what I've been taught all week, and didn't vary that at all. Didn't try to be smart, didn't try to be fast. Just did what I was told to do, the maneuvers that we've been taught basically since really day one, and went really well. So yeah, really pleased with that. Tomorrow is the bigger test. It's about half an hour rolling time, so about 40 minutes. So yeah, really looking forward to getting that done as well, because I'm feeling good on the bike. I'm feeling confident but not too confident, and yeah, I've just really enjoyed this week. So one more sleep, one more day, and hopefully when I get back to you tomorrow, it will be good news all round, because I need to pass tomorrow, which is module 2, in order to get my full bike license. So fingers crossed, and I'll check in with you lot tomorrow. 7th and final day done and dusted. I now have my full motorbike license. Today was just perfect. I know I've banged on about the weather a lot this week, but yet again, really lovely weather. In fact, a bit too warm. It was 30 degrees at one point, which is very warm when you've got many layers on, including a big biking jacket and trousers and boots, etc., and a helmet, of course. But it was just the perfect day. My nerves weren't too bad, but there was some nerves there, which I think is always important in any kind of test scenario. At least they helped me a little bit. We went out in the morning for a quick ride around. Me and Jerry, who was the other guy in my group, the other student or pupil, lovely guy. We both went out for just a couple of hours with Ian, the chief instructor, and just kind of settled our nerves, just sort of went over, polished up what we've learned all week essentially. And yeah, so when we got to the test centre, we really felt on top of things, and yeah, test went super well. Absolutely no minor faults on module 1 or module 2, so yeah, couldn't have gone better. And to top it all off, Ian, chief instructor, the guy that runs the BMW training centre, threw me the keys to his 1250 GS, which is just insane. Literally got my license and he threw me the keys to his 1250 GS to ride back, and it was in Bedford and we had to ride back to Royston, and we went back sort of cross country. It was about a 45-50 minute ride, and I was loving life. I mean, to think that 7 days prior to that I hadn't even got my CBT, didn't know how to change gears on a motorbike, and today I'm riding a, I don't know what it's worth, 15 grand 1250 GS back, and feeling confident doing it as well, feeling really on top of things, understanding how the bike works, sort of basic fundamentals, which is exactly, you know, what we went there to learn. So huge thanks to Ian and his team, yeah, Dennis and Brian, who I started with on day 1 and 2. Massive thanks to Neil and BMW Motorrad UK for giving me this opportunity. It's important. I haven't done this solely for YouTube content. That's not the aim. It wasn't, oh, let's go down the bike avenue. As I explained right at the start of this video, I decided to do it because I've always loved bikes. Bikes have been a huge passion of mine, but something I've never touched. And I'm not going to say that that's a regret, because if younger Joe would have got on a powerful bike, younger Joe might have broken lots of limbs, or younger Joe might not even be here today. So I'm glad that I've done it in the way that I have. Maybe I wish I'd done it 5-10 years ago, but honestly, I can't urge any of you enough. If you are thinking about it, it's just another license to have, isn't it? I'm probably not going to use it for the next couple of months. I've got loads of things going on, but I will start using it, and I will start progressing, getting better on a bike. And I've got that option now. I've got that bike license permanently attached to my driving license now. So done, dusted. Such a nice feeling, and I just can't wait to experiment and yeah, and take it sort of to the next level. So massive thanks to everyone for watching. Huge thanks for all of the support, as always. It's another one of those things that I wouldn't have been able to do without my channel, without my support, and I'm just really grateful that I'm in that situation. I can do it. In the past 3 or 4 months, got my racing license in a car, and now I've got my full motorbike license. Epic, epic, epic. Excuse the sound, I've got a car tyre just jammed in the back seat there. Anyway, thanks for watching. I will see you at the next video. And obviously, if you want any of the details of the amazing centre that I've been at all week, they'll be in the description below. Don't hesitate to reach out. They're super helpful, and they are clearly super useful and good at what they do, because yeah, me and Jerry, who was in my group, we both passed today, which is just awesome. Take it easy, and I'll speak to you very soon. Cheers.